entire season, but for the last two starts. Before his last two starts, 8 walks all season. In his last two, he's at 9.
And he's facing Lipsius now, who is top 5 in the league in on-base percentage and walks, 10th in the league in slugging, 14 home runs for the 6th-year senior. Ball and a strike now to the senior from Williamsburg, Virginia. This is a Tennessee team, by the way, that has put up some quick numbers throughout the course of the season. They're coming off of an 18-0 whitewashing of Belmont midweek. This one high and deep to left field, and it is gone. Opposite field shot, Lipsius' 15th, and the 127th home run of the season for Tennessee to lead all of college baseball. What a stretch it's been for Luke Lipsius. That is his 4th consecutive game with a home run.
And how about the approach, too? So he saw a fastball out of the zone, then swung through a 1-0 changeup. Then he gets a fastball here that's elevated and has a chance to do something. For Smith, that's the one that he's got to be able to sneak by guys, and Lipsius knew it was gone right when he hit it. Quick peek out to left. Brad Cumbas gave chase, and like we've seen so often this year, Tennessee strikes first with a home run.
So here's Jordan Beck, and as hot as Lipsius is, they've got to get Beck going a little bit. Just 2 for his last 24. He was hitless in the series against Georgia over the weekend when he clinched the SEC championship. 0 for 10 with 5 Ks against Georgia. Talked with Tony Vitello today and said, how do you handle a guy who's in a slump like this? And he said, it's simple. You don't make it any bigger than it is. And he said if you break it down over the last couple of weeks, at bat by at bat, they look pretty good. And he's being pitched to like he's the biggest threat in the lineup and the best team in America because that's what he is, so he gets the opponent's best. Ball and 2 strikes now to Jordan Beck.
Slider there from Smith. It just missed off. I think the one thing that you know with Beck is given enough time, he's going to hit. Everything about it says that. Should hear his name called in the first round of the draft this year, and just one of many that can do damage in this Tennessee lineup.
Had a big home run in the Kentucky series. Tennessee was in danger of getting swept in that one. And he's taken some big walks over the course of the season sitting in the 3-hole. 1-2 to Beck. Future first rounder fouls another one off.
Smith's been a little bit more fastball heavy here, and I know we're only 3 hitters into this thing that he generally is. Just one breaking ball is a slider that missed just off the plate. The best outings that I've seen him in this year, and one of his best was against Ole Miss. He gave up a 3-run home run early. It was on a fastball that Kevin Graham jumped on, but after that he dominated with the breaking ball the balance of the game.
Here's the 1-2. He's caught a piece of it.
The right-on-right changeup. That one's good. The changeup he threw to Lipsius was good. He swung right through it. Beck just about did right there for strike 3.
Sinks it low, and Beck lays off of it. 2 balls and 2 strikes. One thing Beck's head coach Tony Vitello mentioned, that if there's any concern about Beck and this recent slump, that he does find himself chasing just a little bit and maybe going outside of the zone. And he drives this one high and deep to left field. This one will get over the fence and gone. Davis got his glove on it but couldn't bring it back. Back-to-back home runs for Tennessee. Get that man a fur coat. It's 90 degrees in Starkville, but it's time to put on the fancy gear.
Fur coat travels down to Starkville. That thing's got to smell wonderful about right now because it's been used now 128 times this year. Jordan Beck, we talked about it. It's an elevated fastball that is in a spot that he can do some damage. Jess Davis, the center fielder. Tommy, if he plays this off, at least when we saw it the first time, I thought it came off his glove and came back in. And when you look at it there, you can tell it hit something just behind at 385. Zion pops back onto the field, and Tennessee now with back-to-back home runs here in the first. Not the start that Scott Foxhall and his Mississippi State staff were looking for.
Check the ball for barbecue sauce. Might have gone off a rack of ribs in the lounge. It's reminiscent a little bit of Smith's start against Florida a couple weeks ago. He allowed a couple of home runs in the second inning of that one. It turned out to be an 8-6 Florida win. And I wanted to ask you, as Drew Gilbert comes to the plate, more fastball heavy early on in this one, obviously by design and scouting report. How quickly you get away from that, knowing how good the curveball is?
I'm surprised so far at pitch selection, and maybe some of it.
And this one's yanked and driven deep to right. It is gone! Back to back to back. Gilbert wears number 1. Tennessee is number 1, and they've started off the final weekend of the season with 3 consecutive home run celebrations.
Fur Coates already made the lap 3 times for Tennessee. Lipsius goes deep. That was a no-doubter. The next 2 didn't get out by much, but they got out by enough. 7th home run of the year for Drew Gilbert, and it looked like it was on a changeup. So it went away from the fastball a little bit. Kellum Clark all the way back. Can't come up with it. Tennessee's put their stamp on this one really early.
Wow.
You just feel like time. I mean, if you're State, you needed something good to start here. Because you got to win 2 out of 3. You just, if you're going to have a chance to go to Hoover, I think you absolutely have to win 2 out of 3. And this is not an ideal start if you're a State fan.
Trey Lipscomb chops one over the head of Luke Hancock. And after the ground out to short by Seth Stevenson on the first pitch of the game, 4 consecutive hits for Tennessee, including 3 solo home runs.
Well, this is when you know it's going right. I mean, State's got the shift on. Lipscomb goes backside off the front of the plate ground ball. It's a single. So if you look at the ground balls that Lipscomb heads to that spot over the course of the season, it's next to none. But instead, Hancock pushed over on the shift a little bit, hit high enough to get over his head. Now 4 straight hits, 3 have been home runs, and the 1-out single by Lipscomb.
It's a Tennessee program that won its 4th SEC regular season championship in school history on Friday night. That was after a 9-2 win against Georgia, and they were able to adjust their rotation and throw off in the final game of that series. Here's Jorel Ortega, and he looks at that Brandon Smith curveball for a first pitch strike.
It's the first curveball that I think we've seen today. The other breaking pitch was 85 miles an hour that just missed away. I believe that's the first curveball we've seen, and it's the 16th pitch of the game.
To third. They go to second for 1, and Yeager in home run RBI. Leading the team in both, and Yeager's riding a 7-game hit streak as he fouls off the first. 0-1. Dick Hauser Award semifinalists were announced this afternoon. Dolander, one of 4 on this Tennessee team. Trey Lipscomb, the only position player, but all 3 in the rotation. Named Dick Hauser semifinalists, said his 3 pitchers out of the 39 players total.
And the one guy that is now also in the rotation that wasn't named was the one that was supposed to be their ace to start the season, Blake Tidwell, who now is back healthy, and we'll see at some point during the course of this weekend. Tennessee literally has 4 guys, 4 weekend starters that could be a game 1 starter for essentially anyone else in the country. They got 4.
Sounds like an advantage. Yeager gets underneath this one.
I got it!
You can hear Seth Stevenson or somebody imitating him. 1 down.
Seth Stevenson sitting in the 19th row down the left field line. That was him, but I don't know that it was. They were just trying to help.
Yeah. I can't see down there anyway. Here's Luke Hancock. He's had a pretty good run. He's hitting 13 of his last 14. 39 walks, 4th best in the SEC for Hancock. And he looks at a first pitch strike at 96. Junior from Houston, Mississippi. And sends this one up the middle. A little flare handled by Cortland Lawson.
So you stake Dolander to a 3-0 lead. Over the course of the season, only once has he given up more than 3 runs. Forget non-earned total. Excuse me, twice. Once against Missouri, once against Baylor early. His last 4 starts, Dolander's given up 2 runs, period.
Yikes. He is second in the country. Strikeouts per 9 innings pitched. He leads the country in whip, which is walks and hits per innings pitched. That number is .76. Logan Tanner trying to get things going. He's been in a bit of a slump. And he looks at 97 over the outer third, 0-2. Logan Tanner out of George County High School, Lucedale, Mississippi. Small town, but a lot of talent in that town. He looked up to Justin Steele, who's now with the Cubs. He was there the year before Tanner got to high school, and Steele's had a pretty nice run on the north side of Chicago so far this early MLB season. Breaking ball low, 2-2.
Let's go, LT.
2-2 pitch to Tanner. Rides 96 to right field and settling underneath it. That same guy, Jordan Beck, this time with the same voice. We've got a ventriloquist in the building. Side retired in order. We go to the second. Tennessee up 3-0. Tennessee with back-to-back home runs in the first inning for the 3rd time this season. Previously did it against Missouri back on April 9th. Tonight it was Lipsius, Beck, and Gilbert. And Brandon Smith will try to get back on track facing the bottom third of the order here in the second. Blake Burke will lead off, co-freshman of the week in the SEC. There are a lot of different numbers that are impressive when you look at what Tennessee has accomplished this season, and some that are just plain weird. Here's a weird one, and I don't know if this has any impact on their dominance or it's just random, but in the second inning this season, Tennessee has outscored its opponents 67-4. That sounds made up.
Weird. No. That's pretty decent lineup depth. This is a guy that just adds to that depth. Blake Burke has 63 at-bats the entire season. 9 home runs already.
And
I think now has found his way in. Sorry, Tommy. Now has found his way in as a regular in this lineup. And it's taken him a while to break it in. But, I mean, this is just a freshman. This is one of the next great power hitters in college baseball.
Let's go, Brandon.
It's scary to think that Tennessee's lineup has gotten deeper, but they have plenty of pieces they can bring off the bench that have been impactful this season. As Beck looks at a strike that he thought was high. One of those pieces is coming back from an injury. Jared Dickey hasn't played since April 23rd against Florida. Had a fracture in his foot. They're going to give him a chance to continue to hit during batting practice, but the thought is, a chance to pinch hit or DH in Hoover next week. Shot to center. That one's off the fence. And Burke held to a long single.
I mean, this ball didn't get 35 feet, 40 feet off the ground. It's 3-1. He is hunting heater, and he got it. Hits it to dead center. When you see Jess Davis's number, that is not a good feeling when you're on the mound. And there have been a ton of barrels so far. 3 home runs in the first inning. That one just missed off the bat of Burke, and Smith hadn't missed too many bats yet.
Logan Tanner had to get a new chest protector. He's out of the shot right now, but he's not that far away. He's just right over there. You saw him messing with the strap on his chest protector on the previous batter. Be like you changing your sport coat in the middle of a game.
Not a bad idea. We may switch it up. A little back half of the game sport coat.
Uh-huh. Here's Evan Russell. Slices that one foul. Dozen home runs in the season for Russell. He's one away from tying the program record for career home runs. A senior from Lexington, Tennessee. What a unique mix that is really only possible post-COVID in college baseball, to have so many veteran players who were part of a historical season last year for Tennessee as they returned to Omaha, and high-end, high-ceiling newcomers.
And some guys in different spots. I mean, Evan Russell's back behind home plate. He had never caught before. This year, you want the bat in the lineup. Russell's one home run away from being the all-time leading home run hitter at Tennessee. So put this into perspective. We talk about this offense. Evan Russell's got a chance to be the all-time home run leader in the history of Tennessee baseball. He's hitting 8th.
Yeah.
Let's go, Brandon.
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense. Not typical. Russell homered twice in the Georgia series. He went 4 for 10. That one just missed inside. 222nd game played for Russell in the orange and white tonight.
Here we go.
Ground ball, chance for 2 again. Forsythe does it. One strength for State has been their defense. Fewest errors in the SEC, and they're able to turn their second double play of the game.
Yeah, Lane Forsythe, one of the big reasons why. Back in as a regular at shortstop, and easy decision right there. Hit hard enough, momentum taking him to second base. And he's going to take that one himself the entire time. Double plays have been a friend to Brandon Smith so far. Turned 1 in the first, now 1 in the second to erase a leadoff single.
So the 9-hole hitter, Cortland Lawson, stands in. First-year starter at short from Potomac Falls, Virginia. He's got double-digit home runs. 52nd start of the season at shortstop for a Tennessee team that is 46-7. They are 34-3 at home. They are 10-2 on the road. Tony Vitello's team suffered a loss at Smoky Stadium, AA home of the Cubs, to end a 23-game win streak. Came to Tennessee Tech a few weeks ago. Breaking ball hammered deep left, but got underneath it. And so Cumbus will do the same with his short pants. He puts it away from ago. I had that song stuck in my head for a week. John Deere Green.
There are
Right,
worse
Cumbus.
songs to get stuck in your head.
Indeed.
Call it both ways, huh?
How about the sartorial decisions for one Brad Cumbus, two-sport player when he began his state career? He's got the jersey down to the middle button, and he's got his pants hiked up above the knees.
The
My man's
combination
gotta
of
look.
all this is outstanding. I mean, we got no undershirt working. We've got jorts on to play, which he makes look really good. The thing about Cumbus, and I think it's going to get really interesting from a professional standpoint, this kid's got a chance to play for a while because he hasn't been able to dedicate everything to baseball until now. And I think it's a swing that probably smooths out when he gets into pro ball, but the physical attributes are through the roof. He's 15 home runs this year. He is a good runner. He's not a plus runner, but he's a lot better runner than you would think just given size. Obviously, he's a tight end, so that would make sense. But I think he's going to create some interesting discussions in draft rooms.
6'5", 250 from Hurley, Mississippi, and he's homered in 3 of his last 4 games. He makes the bat look small. I mean, that's something Aaron Judge can do. I'm curious. I should have asked when we were there. what his bat specs are. Because that thing looks like a toothpick in his hands. Fitting for a guy who picked up the name Mule as a child.
And he embraces Mule.
Mm-hmm.
He runs faster than most mules, though.
Pops up 97, won't leave the infield. Ortega calls for it. And 2 down. Terrell Ortega's really coming to his own this season. He's put in a lot of work. Tony Vitello was talking about the fact that he would stay overnight in the facility, get some work done at night, crash on the couch or in the lounge, get up the next morning and do the same, as Kellen Clark stands in. I was talking to Tony about that today. He said, you know, when I was playing baseball at Missouri, I had a star player by the name of Kim English. And Tennessee fans know that name. He was a longtime assistant to Rick Barnes before taking the head job at George Mason. And he said, Kim used to stay the night in Mizzou Arena, get his shots up at night, crash on the couch, get up it again the next day. So I reached out to Kim today. I said, hey, is this accurate? And he had 2 things to say. He said, yeah, I did it every school night of summer of 2008. And then Kim followed that up with, I can't believe the best baseball coach in the world is telling stories about me.
I got it.
Everybody. LSU has the all-time NCAA home run record as a team. That came in '97 when they were playing guerrilla ball. They had 188 home runs over 70 games that year. First pitch strike to Stevenson.
I'm aware.
How many did they get you for?
4.
Over how many games?
Don't worry about it.
I just think we should be factual. If we're going to share stats, let's
2.
okay.
I wasn't out
Better
there
than
very
one.
long in either one of them.
Did the same guy get you twice?
It actually may have been 5. No, I think I spread the love around. I think we had 4 different guys.
Stevenson hit 2 in the midweek against Belmont. And that one knocked down by Forsythe, but Stevenson will reach infield single.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why you don't want to standing on first to start in any one. Leadoff man on, and Tennessee's got pretty good history of driving them in, but Stevenson's the one that can really run. Roll over ground ball, and even with James playing deep, if he doesn't get it, there's no chance that Forsythe's going to throw it out, even if he fields it cleanly. So leadoff single here. That's back-to-back innings that Tennessee has done that. So those home runs. Tennessee's at 129 home runs right now. Top 10 starts at 144. This is all-time single-season college baseball. But none of those have come in the last 25 years. I mean, that is how historic it is what Tennessee's doing right now. They're not getting to 188, but it wouldn't shock me if they're staring at 155, 160 by the time we get done.
They'll go into the big ballpark in Hoover next week, and then they'll have, well, 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament at home. In for a strike to Lipsius. $14 home runs for Lipsius. He's driven in, 15 now, and he's driven in 32. They'll try to keep Stevenson close. He's second in the SEC with 19 stolen bases. Talking to Lipsius about the change in coaching staff since he got to campus, and he said, you know, previously he was kind of trying to play California style, West Coast style in the SEC. Then the new staff came in, got to work, and it's in the SEC, power versus power. Breaking ball for a strike. Well, they have power bats and power arms.
Yeah, there's power everything. I mean, it's power stuff. It's a ton of swing and miss from a pitching standpoint. When Dave Serrano was there, I mean, that was Dave Serrano's history, and he had a lot of success with it. He took Fullerton to the College World Series. He took Irvine to the College World Series. It just didn't play in the SEC.
Runner goes, throw not in time and a little bit wide on a pitch that was in the dirt.
And Logan Tanner almost had a chance, and I mean, he goes backhand side on this, and the only chance he's going to have to throw him out is to do this. He can't block it, but goes backhand, fields it cleanly, throws in one move. If it doesn't tail, he throws Stevenson out right there. That's one of the best catch-and-throw catchers in the entire country. Coming into the season, there was some talk that maybe Tanner could push himself up to the end of the first round. Now it's looking more like second round. The bat has just been okay this year. There is zero question about the catch and throw. I think the only question for me with Logan Tanner is how far can the bat take him?
Opposite field laser. That's his second opposite field hit for Lipsius. Ronnie Teague has first, says he didn't go.
I agree. Started him, didn't go quite far enough.
Beck golfs this one into right center. Yeager handles it. One down.
Same pitch that Beck hit out for a home run. The location totally different. That time, Brandon Smith, who had crowded him pretty good with the fastball at Jordan Beck's first at bat, but just elevated one, got it out over the plate. That's when Beck rode it out for his 14th home run. That one had good arm side run, got in on his hands, and he couldn't get the barrel to it.
So with one down, Gilbert steps in. He had a fundraising endeavor for the Georgia series called Bat Flip for Kids, benefiting East Tennessee Children's Hospital. That's fitting for this Tennessee team. Big swing and a miss, and he knows what it's like. As a youngster, he spent a lot of time in the hospital. In second grade alone, Drew Gilbert underwent 6 different surgeries to clear intestinal obstructions. They couldn't quite figure out what was wrong with him. They finally ended up sending him to the Mayo Clinic. And a Minnesota native refused to go to sleep in the hospital unless he was wearing his baseball mitt. 0-2 on a pitch near the edge. Health problems in the rear view for Gilbert, and a great way to give back by doing the fundraiser last weekend.
What was it? Bat flips for charity?
Bat flips for kids.
Bat flips for kids. That's educational, too. That's important.
That's right.
How about, you want to talk about the impact that TV has on young kids. The number of, like, T-ball bat flips that you see right now on Twitter is phenomenal. And it's because of one reason. And the same reason that we're doing bat flips for kids fundraisers. They see it, they're going to do it.
Certainly looks fun, doesn't it?
If it gets more of them playing, that is a good thing.
And this one sent to right where Clark has it. Tagging from third, Stevenson. He's got good speed and will cross ahead of the throw. Sac fly for Gilbert. He's driven in a pair here tonight.
Let's go, Brandon!
And that'll bring Trey Lipscomb to the plate. Lipscomb singled. Found a note. Our researcher to the Stars, Greg Campbell, dug up a game summary from LSU hitting a record-tying 5 home runs, including 2 by Brandon Larson, against a guy by the name of Kyle Peterson in the College World Series. Clint Earnhardt had a 2-run home run in the 4th. Larson and the legendary Eddie Furness went back-to-back in the 5th, if you didn't remember clearly.
Thanks, Greg.
Did you know that LSU tied a College World Series record for most home runs in a game that day?
Huh. Yeah, Tom, I was there. So the game that you're referencing, I was there, and I had a really good view of it. I was like 60 feet away from all of them.
That seeing high grounder again, second for Lipscomb. And the Vols have runners at first and second with 2 down. I just didn't know, in your age, if your memory served you.
Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Hey, Gregor, why don't you go find a write-up for the second time that I faced LSU while we're at it? Let's just throw a little gas on the fire. For Lipscomb, you could watch half a season and see 2 ground balls like we saw right there. And they're almost the exact same thing. Bounce right over the top of Hancock's head. Lipscomb 2 for 2. That's when you kind of know it's your night for Tennessee offensively. And I mean, that happens a lot, but when Lipscomb's getting 2 hits like that, that is a rough evening.
Here's Ortega again, and a breaking ball down. 1-0. I was telling a story about Kim English saying the night at Mizzou Arena, just like Ortega has done at times in the Tennessee baseball facility. And the conversation with Kim quickly turned to how great a coach Tony Vitello is. And he had a comp that actually I think fits, even though he just kind of threw it out there. He said, I love Tony V. He's the Sean McVay of baseball.
Okay. Yeah. It's a compliment, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I won a Super Bowl.
To third. That's a fair ball. Will carry him off the side wall. Lipsius around to score. Lipscomb will stop at third. And Ortega's standing up with an RBI double.
I mean, it just adds to it. Jarrell Ortega, who had waited his time, battled, had a chance last year, but didn't have great numbers, and then ended up on the bench for a lot of the year. That has not been the case this year. He has been a mainstay and has had has had a big-time offensive year, but is one of many in this Tennessee lineup to say that. You referenced that story Mike Wilson wrote in the Knoxville News-Sentinel earlier this week about Jarrell Ortega and sleeping in the clubhouse, and a lot of times it was when the team was on the road. So he would get up, get in work the following day, but I think some of it was just a constant reminder of, and he wanted to be on the road with him and knew he had some work to get there.
Well hit, deep right field. It is gone again. Tennessee sends one into the grills. That is the 4th home run of the game. The first for Burke. And his second hit tonight.
They're not leaving a whole lot of doubt right now. And, I mean, this team will break your heart, and then they'll show it to you. And that's exactly what Tennessee's doing again tonight. 3 home runs in the first, and a kid that, again, by the time he gets done, it could be Blake Burke's name that has the most home runs in the history of Tennessee baseball. That's a first-pitch breaking ball, and that is leaned on. There's been a few that snuck out of here. That isn't one of them. That one went, we're going 3rd row of the grills, all the way deep into right field. 4 home runs on the day for Tennessee. And let's see what State does with Brandon Smith, because you know you got to win 2 games this weekend. And you better not blow your bullpen out tonight. Because if you're down 8-0 right now, you just got to get through this one, lick your wounds, get done, and see if you can figure out a way to win the next 2. Part of that is going to be you need Smith to get you some more outs. Just limit the amount of time that bullpen has to work tonight, because you're going to need him in the next 2 days.
7 of the 9 in the batting order have hit so far tonight for Tennessee. Russell bounced into a double play. You said Tennessee will rip out your heart and show it to you. They're like the roadhouse of college baseball. You don't remember the Patrick Swayze scene where he ripped out the guy's throat? Taking it back to the late 80s?
Yeah, no, I do. I was trying to remember a line from that, and I was getting absolutely nowhere. So the silence was not because I didn't remember the movie. It was because I was trying to say something witty, and then I failed miserably.
If you had Roadhouse on baseball bingo tonight,
cross it off.
I thought you'd be bigger. Dozen home runs for Russell. And a line shot and another hit for Tennessee. So to your point, we're now at nearly 60 pitches for Smith, and he's getting torched. They will get Tepper up in the bullpen. I understand, and I think everybody does, your point about trying to save the bullpen. At what point are you responsible for taking care of your player when he doesn't have it against the nation's best?
Well, there's two things. One, physically, I mean, he's fine to get up to 100 pitches. I think some of it is, do you feel like you got to take care of his, I mean, honestly, you got to take care of his feelings.
Yeah.
Because it is not a comfortable spot to be in right there for Smith. The best thing that he can do and State can do right now, though, is to figure out a way to give him 5 innings. And just limit how often you got to go to that bullpen tonight, because it doesn't matter how you get 2 wins. If you're State, the math just doesn't work unless you get 2 this weekend.
Cortland Lawson looks at a pitch away. In other news in the SEC, Luke Mann has hit a grand slam from Mizzou. Tigers lead Georgia 7-1, top of the 3rd. They're one of the bottom teams in the league that Mississippi State is trying to crawl in front of to qualify for Hoover. It's been since 2015 since the last time State missed out on the SEC tournament.
You end up scoreboard watching right now if you're State after this one, and so far the scoreboard isn't being nice to you. Missouri with a 7-1 lead, Alabama with a 2-0 lead over Arkansas. And Alabama has played 1 less game. They're 1 up in that win column, which from a percentage standpoint would help them.
And the first pitch again swung at. Lipscomb against the screen. Came back and made the catch. Nice adjustment, 1 down.
Lipscomb got all the way over there, and this one probably was over the top of that net and came back into fair territory. Eyes on it the entire time. Has to jump back, and Mississippi State continues what they've done at this point. Aggressive early in the count. James wins at the first pitch fastball. Dolander has set down the first 7 that he's faced. All have been fly ball outs.
So with 1 down, it's Jess Davis. And he swings at the first as well. A little weak grounder. Lipsius. Dolander covers. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Dolander needed only 11 pitches in the first and then 11 more in the second. And the 9-hole hitter Lane Forsythe coming up. Tennessee's homered 4 times already tonight. Forsythe will get a chat.
Jake Gotrot right there. I'm sure part of this is, hey, we're going to take one, but also just to try to screw up the timing to some extent of Dolander, because he is looks like he's just out for a walk in the park right now. It's been an easy 97, and he has hammered the zone like he always does.
Another first pitch strike. He is 9 for 9 in throwing the first pitch in the strike zone tonight. And that was breaking ball in for a strike, 0-2. Forsythe from Humboldt, Tennessee. His dad, Andy, played baseball at Jackson State. His mom was a softball player there. How often do you see pitchers wear high tops?
What do you got with high tops?
How often do you see a pitcher in them? I feel like Leiter wore them last year, unless I'm mistaken.
A few times, yeah. Those look like the old school, like with the pumps on the side.
The old
Remember
Reebok
those?
pumps, yeah.
Yes, those were the greatest. Like, I mean, and when you do it, you pumped it so many times it felt like your foot was going to fall asleep forever, just because it was so cool. And then you really felt like you could jump, or at least I did.
Yeah,
and then the tape would show that I didn't.
Turn your shoes in one of those blood pressure machines they have at the drugstore. That one was close. Didn't get the call in the 3-ball count.
Close is a nice way to say it. That's strike 3. That is right down the middle. I mean, it's out at third, but it definitely caught a bunch of the plate. Did not look like it was down.
And so the payoff. And that one was indeed low. The first base runner coming after a borderline ball 3 call before the walk. That is the first walk for Chase Dolander since April 2nd.
It's the third week.
I hadn't even paid my taxes by then.
That was a month and a half ago.
And if the IRS is listening, yeah, the check is in the mail, I swear. Here's Yeager. Flew out to left field, swung at the first, and he swings at the first one here. Dolander, as Tennessee fans know, came to campus from Georgia Southern. He pitched against Tennessee last year, and he had a great outing. Struck out 8, walked only 1, allowed 3 hits. When he got to campus, in a news article, he said, I was a little unsure of how I'd proceed. Well, Redmond Walsh took him under his wings, and then he came out, started pumping strikes, and that's the easiest way to make friends.
So they all like you when you throw 96 and don't walk anybody. That usually makes you a lot of friends on a baseball team, and Dolander's done it from day one. How about breaking ball?
Everybody dreams of having that power first baseman that can also play defense, and he's that guy.
Mikey Tepper is a new pitcher for State, and Seth Stevenson at the plate. Before we let you go, I wanted to ask about your rotation. You've got everybody healthy now and ready to go. I'm curious, with Frank Anderson, how far out do you plan how you're going to use guys with the SEC tournament lingering and then the NCAAs after that?
I think under normal circumstances, it's a 1 or 2 week max kind of planning situation since we've been here together. But with extenuating circumstances of Blade coming off the injured reserve deal, a little bit sore, and then Dolander getting hit on the elbow, it just called for extra meetings or extra coordination and to kind of have a vision. And we've changed it as we went, but at least we kind of had a plan and mapped it out to where we could hopefully spread the innings evenly, get guys repetitions or looks in different type of scenarios. And bottom line is they're good pitchers, so they make you look good on most occasions wherever you put them. And they've also been great teammates because, you know, who doesn't want to be out there with the ball in their hand, especially in game 1.
Hey, Tony, one more real quick. We talked about Jarrell Ortega, and I know there was a story that came out this week about sleeping in the clubhouse when you guys were on the road last year, and obviously now he's become one of your most important guys in the middle of this lineup. What has that development been like for you to see?
Yeah, it's been fun because he's the type of kid when we have camp or if there's some sort of event or a charitable cause, he's everybody's favorite. So there's no one that doesn't want to see him do well. Unfortunately, he came in out of high school with Tommy John, and he had to just rehab and train as a freshman. And then last year, like Trey Lipscomb and a couple other talented guys, they got stuck behind a really nice lineup that we rolled with every day, and he kind of had to bide his time. So now that he's having success, it's a joy for everybody because if if the camera's on him or you guys have been around him, he just loves being here. I mean, he loves being around the park. He loves playing the game. He's kind of got that ultra passion going for the sport of baseball and also people. And the people in Knoxville can feel that. So I think he's been the beneficiary of some people inviting him over for birthday parties and stuff like that because of the magic 3 letters that were a hot topic today.
Hey, I don't want to let you go without telling you. You shared with me that Kim English used to stay the night at Mizzou Arena when you were a student back in the day. I reached out to Kim today, and we were talking about him doing that, and then he tagged it with, I can't believe the best baseball coach in the world is telling stories about me. So,
well, that's because he always used to brag that he was going to be a good pitcher and he could come over. Hey, we let him throw out a first pitch. It wasn't any good. But that dude could shoot, and he had ultra work ethic. And if you could buy stock in a basketball coach in the country, we have a phenomenal guy in Rick Barnes. But, again, if you could buy stock in that dude because he is going to be a future Hall of Famer.
We're reading from the same book. Thanks, man. I feel the same way. Appreciate your time.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
appreciate y'all. See you in Hoover soon.
You got it. And Tennessee will indeed stay on the road and not return back to Knoxville before they get to Hoover, work out at Hoover High School on Monday. They'll go over to Sanford and get some hitting in on Tuesday. Here's Lipsius. He called him the 35-year-old over at first base. It's not entirely accurate, but Tony likes to play to the cameras every now and then. Lipsius 2 for 2 with an opposite field home run. Both of his hits have come to left field. That's a 4-game home run streak now for Lipsius.
Come on, man. You'll tear a hole in the darn turf.
Mikey Tepper gets in that 2-strike count. He keeps trying to throw that breaking ball, and he's throwing it about 56 feet. Logan Tanner keeps blocking it, though. He's kept it close. Didn't get any swings at him, but that's 3 or 4 in a row that got him in the chest protector.
To first base and 2 down. I want to go back to Vitello for a second. I mean, there are hires that in retrospect make all the sense in the world and seem to be perfect fits. It's not always easy to see that before the hire is made. A lot of us who've been around this game, and especially this league, knew with Vitello's reputation as a recruiter that he would be a successful head coach. But to this end and this quickly is awfully impressive.
No, 100%. I mean, everybody knew from a recruiting standpoint because he was an ace recruiter at TCU. He did the exact same thing in Arkansas and Missouri before that. I mean, you knew the guy was going to recruit. And then ultimately put together a great staff. Josh Elander, Frank Anderson, his 2 assistants, and then they went out and got dudes. And they had a few. I mean, Lipsius was already there. You're the beneficiary of a few. But I got to tell you, and I know that the season has not gone the way that it is, Chris Lemonis is that same type of deal. Mm-hmm. I mean, when he was at Indiana, he took him to the postseason 3 out of 4 times. Then he gets here, and both seasons he's been at Mississippi State, they've ended the season in Omaha. One, they've hoisted the trophy. And this has been a weird year. And I don't – losing Landon Sims kind of kicked everything off, and obviously State just hasn't been able to right the ship. But it should not go as a detriment to the type of coach that guy is and the job that he's done his first 2 years prior to this in Starkville, because, man, he did something nobody's been able to do before.
It is not entirely uncommon that the national champion doesn't qualify for the NCAA postseason the next year. While Coastal Carolina was the most recent, 3 of the last 8 national champions haven't made it back to the tournament the next year. 2 and 2 now. The other 2 were UCLA and Arizona. Two to Beck. Tepper misses with 95, just tugged it low. Beck fouls one up. The magic of Twitter and our friends there, including R. Jeff Clark, he wanted to let you know that 33 years ago today, Roadhouse was first released in cinemas. That was Patrick Swayze, Kelly Lynch, and one Sam Elliott.
Well, thank you. Now I got to go watch it again. So the next time you bring it up, I can fire a line back at you, unlike today.
You have a homework assignment.
Smells really good. There haven't been many that have hit Dolander this year. State's been really aggressive, obviously, but you can understand why against a guy like Dolander. Here's the thing. If you're not aggressive, you're going to be 0-1, 0-2 virtually every time you're up there because he hammers the strike zone. So in many cases, I mean, you would say drive the pitch count up. You can't drive the pitch count up against the guy very often unless you're going to hit a bunch of balls because he's not going to throw many balls. I mean, you look up again here. Logan Tanner's 0-2. Yeah, 1-3 ball count. He walked him, and ball 3 was a strike. If you go back and look at it, it was a slider that was called a ball that ultimately would have ended the inning. If that's called a strike, Dolander would have faced a minimum at this point.
0-2 to Tanner, and he pulls a foul. They're underway in Nashville. LSU has loaded the bases in the first inning. And now they have 2 on with 2 out. So LSU can't afford to waste a big opportunity in that one. Tanner fouls another one off.
98. So he climbs the ladder at 98, and you're going to see Dolander. That's why he gets so many fly balls, but he'll live. It's got a little arm side run, but it really holds plane. It does not sink a whole lot, and he's doing that intentionally. He's trying to throw it at the top part of the zone, and then he comes back with that. Breaking ball. He can add depth to it, too. That's the thing. Some will look like a cutter, like that one kind of did. And then he can also add depth to it and try to throw the swing and miss slider.
Oh, 2 to Tanner. There's a swing and a miss. Second strikeout for Dolan. 2 down.
Here we go. 4.
3 NCAA softball regional matchups for you. Tomorrow, early start in Como, Missouri State and Mizzou. Alabama's got a 6 seed. They play host to Chattanooga in the Tuscaloosa Regional. And then at 6 Eastern, the SEC champs play host to Princeton. Regionals, 4 teams, double elimination format. You're familiar with that. And then 16 super regionals. Foul tip caught Evan Russell. And Jeff Wood in his 22nd season does his job by going out there.
Hey. Just enough exposed beyond that shin guard, and that looked like it caught the top of the knee. Evan Russell right about now is going, so why did I end up turning into a catcher? Stuff like that didn't happen when I wasn't behind the plate.
Hunter Hines sends this one to right, and in the sunlight, Beck.
Oh, I would totally agree. I mean, Texas Tech wasn't even on the board last weekend. They go sweep Oklahoma State. They show up. Florida State goes on the road this weekend. Notre Dame's at Miami. No, there could still be plenty of movement there. I think 1, 2, and 3 aren't going anywhere. After that, I of those next 5, as far as national seeds, I'd be shocked if there aren't 2 or 3 different names that end up there.
Notre Dame and Miami are tied at 1 in the 5th inning tonight, and Virginia Tech won a slugfest against Duke in their opener of that ACC series. Florida State down 4-3 in the 8th at North Carolina. Drew Gilbert at the plate to lead off the 5th. What I think will be worth keeping an eye on as we get to next week in the conference tournaments, this is Forsyth in the midst of the ship, is the ACC tournament with its weird setup and the round robin play and the pods, and you might only get 2 games, and you could go 2-0 and not advance. They've really de-emphasized that tournament over the years to try to protect their teams for the postseason, and I understand the value in that. But there's still a lot to determine in the ACC, and they may not give themselves the opportunity to really filter things out.
There's a ton to be determined in the ACC. Yeah, and I would agree. I don't like the pool play. And one of the reasons I don't like it is because, it happens every year in the ACC. You end up getting games that, as far as advancing in the ACC tournament, are totally meaningless.
Yeah.
Because you've already determined who's going to move on out of that pool, whereas the SEC and really everybody else, as far as I can think of right now, is kind of your traditional win and move on type process. Got the Pac-12 with a conference tournament this year. That has not happened historically.
Now, point of clarification, if you go 2-0 in your pod, you will advance. But if everyone goes 1-1 in the ACC, then they just reward the one who came in with the highest seed to begin with. Lipscomb, another hit. He is 3 for 3. Got Pac-12 tournament out in Arizona. That championship game will be on the family of networks. What's at stake in Hoover next week?
Yeah, it depends who you are. I think that you start looking up and down this league right now. Tennessee isn't going anywhere. Tennessee's going to be a top 8 for sure. In fact, I don't really see a scenario how they can't be number 1. But then you get past that, and it's everybody else that's fighting to make sure that they get a top 8 ideally, because now you're protected for all the way through if you win, but definitely one of those top 16. Arkansas, A&M, Auburn.
Forsyth will call for this one off Ortega's bat.
They're in the best spot right now. How about Ole Miss coming out of nowhere?
Uh-huh.
I mean, the end of that Ole Miss series, Mississippi State series, if you would have told me that it ends up this way, there's zero chance I would have believed it. That Ole Miss comes into the weekend 13-14 in the league, and if they have a good weekend and they're at home, they get the Aggies coming in, they got a chance to be 500 in the league.
Well, they're down 7-0 in the second, so.
That's not an ideal start if you're Ole Miss.
Here's Blake Burke. What an impressive weekend. Last weekend at Kinsella Shoe on the road. Swept them, and they've been on a tear. Burke is 2 for 2 with a 3-run home run. Talking with Dave Van Horn earlier today, and the opportunity for Arkansas to win the West in a battle with Texas A&M. It's hard to imagine the West winner not being a top 8 national seed. Yet that could be the case. That's why Hoover will hold extra import for whoever comes out of that side, number 1.
Yeah, I still think whoever wins the West ends up getting the top 8. I mean, as it stands right now, the biggest issue, well, really for both of them, but especially for Arkansas, is RPI. A&M comes into the weekend at 18 in RPI. Arkansas is 24. And the next few weeks will help just because of who they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
You're telling me that if A&M goes to Ole Miss, forget the RPI for a minute, A&M goes to Ole Miss, wins 2 out of 3, goes 19-11 in the league, even if the RPI is 12 or whatever is at the end of the year, like that is a top 8 any other year.
The lowest RPI to earn a top 8 seed over the last 5 years was Texas Tech in 2016. They were the regular season champion in the Big 12, and they had an RPI of 14. The average RPI over the last 5 years for the top 8 seeds is nearly 5.5. It's 5.4. Pitches upstairs to Burke. Now you've had other high RPI teams not get top 8 national seeds. The only one out of a power conference was Ole Miss in 2016. They were 5th in the RPI. There's a walk to Burke, who's reached base safely all 3 plate appearances. Tony Vitello talked about the opportunity for some of these guys to put together chances to play, chances to hit. Certainly the same thing with the pitching staff. And Burke taking full advantage of that, reigning co-freshman of the week in the league. Here's Evan Russell. It is not a sellout crowd tonight at Dudy Noble Field. We were there just a couple of weeks ago. There were 15,000 jammed in. But helping out the ticket sellers, there's a lot of orange in that building. More than you would typically see of a visiting fan base, I believe. Line shot into the gap in left center. Lipscomb will score. Headed to third is Burke. Behind him, Russell into second. And he'll go in without a slide. It's a run-scoring double for Evan Russell. He's got 2 hits tonight.
Keep the line moving right here. Fastball inner part, and temper's been pretty good up to this point, but got a little bit too much of the plate. Russell drives it out to left field, 2 outs. Lipscomb's running on contact right there. He scores easily. Burke first to third. Evan Russell with another RBI. And Tennessee just keeps on coming.
Well, some of those Tennessee fans, it's about a 6-hour drive from Knoxville to Starkville. That'd be Ville to Ville. I imagine we might see some orange in the building next week in Hoover, huh?
Hey, man, I hadn't been to Lindsey Nelson in 7 years probably. I mean, I hadn't been there when Tony was a head coach. It was when Serrano was the head coach. That environment last weekend was phenomenal. They will travel.
We called the Super Regional last year, but remotely, and I remember the scene the street down the third base line and behind the stadium that they had closed off. Tony Vitello hinted that not only are they going to do that again, but that might be a semi-permanent thing when he was on with Tony Basilio this week locally in Knoxville. It became such a great party scene that Vitello said, why wouldn't we do it on football weekends, right? The plans that they're putting together, the $50+ million that they've asked for to spend on that baseball stadium, whatever comes to fruition. Here's Tepper's 2-1. So you were impressed by the crowd. Was it loud?
It was loud. They were there early. I tell you what impressed me as much as anything. I got the first night, I don't know, I probably got there 2.5 hours before game time. I was walking in. Walk out of that parking garage. It's just across the street. I'm not 15 steps. And a guy comes up and asks me if I have any extra tickets for sale. Game 1 of the series. It was a Thursday night, and now that's a pretty good sign to start. When you get ticket scalpers on a Thursday night for a college baseball game, they're showing up.
I think they had 4,000 for the Belmont game. Bases loaded now, top of the order, and Seth Stevenson. Oddly enough, talking with Tony today, we were talking about the Tennessee Tech loss. It came in front of nearly 9,000 people at the AA Park in Kodak. That's the mailing address, 3540 Line Drive, if you know. And he mentioned, he said, my guys have admitted, and I think there's something to it, that outside of playing at our home park, when we play in these neutral sites and there's a big crowd, that brings a pressure that they've admitted they've been a little uncomfortable with. And I was surprised to hear Tony say that, but if you look at the performance in Omaha last year, you could see the remnants of that.
It's all the more reason to do it during the regular season, right? I mean, just expose them to as many of those types of environments. Than, I know that Tennessee Tech beat them that night, but aside from that, they've gone into some pretty good environments this year and performed pretty well. I mean, Tennessee on the road this season in the league, they swept Ole Miss. They swept Vanderbilt.
And that was a weekend where tickets were going for more than the Final Four.
Yeah, that weekend was insane. They swept Florida. Their first 3 World Series this year, they swept them all.
Sinking line drive will drop. Burke comes home to score. Russell around third. He comes down the line, and it's a 2-run single for Seth Stevenson. And he'll get a couple more arms up in the pen. Here's Lipsius. Tepper sitting at 40 pitches. At this point, he's probably burned for the weekend, right? Maybe you could bring him back on Saturday. Definitely tomorrow, right?
Yeah, you potentially could. Come in and get a few outs.
LSU couldn't cash in on the bases loaded in the first inning. That game is scoreless. Top of the second now. Tigers in Nashville to take on Vanderbilt. You'll be there tomorrow night, kind of.
Not that I'm aware of.
Oh, I thought you were calling that game tomorrow.
I don't think I am. If you saw Differ, who really they've gone to a lot this year. I mean, on for the 21st time. That's just 2 less than Jackson Fristow as far as appearances, but that ERA is close to 10.
First pitch strike to Lipsius, who is 2 for 3 in this one. Lipsius with 15 home runs in the season. He's in front of Beck, who's hit 14.
Here we go. Here we go, CT.
LSU got a solo home run. It's a 1-0 lead for the Tigers on the road at Vandy in the second.
Arkansas got a 3-run home run. Caden Wallace. 5-3 Hogs now in the 5th in Tuscaloosa.
Alabama and Auburn only played 2 this past weekend.
There we go.
There's a swing and a miss, and that May picture taken with him and everything.
That was one happy kid.
Brad Cumbus leads off the 5th for Mississippi State. They have sent one more than the minimum to the plate. Lane Forsythe, the walk, has been the only state base runner. Cumbus popped up to second base in the second. Only 1 out on the ground so far tonight for State against a Tennessee team that is 10th in the country in fielding. Off the cap, 1-2.
Hey, here we go, mute. Kicking in the bar in there, I like that. Come on, Bill. Get it started, baby.
Swing and a miss on the slider. Strikeout number 3. And that'll bring Kellum Clark to the plate. A lot to talk about Sunday night on Rally Cap before Dari packs his bags for Hoover. Not only breaking down the weekend that was on the baseball side, but finishing up softball regionals. It's Rally Cap, 7 Eastern, 6 Central after the NCAA softball regionals right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app.
Well, those guys are doing in the studio tonight.
We got Clark.
First
Hang
pitch
out, we
way
got
down by
action.
Clark.
We got action all over the place.
What do you got your eye on? Kellum Clark 0 for 1, pop up to left.
A few. Florida State now ahead of North Carolina in the 8th. That's big for Florida State. I don't know. They'd have to sweep this weekend, have a really good ACC tournament to potentially host. Miami leads Notre Dame 4-1. A&M with a 7 spot early on Ole Miss in Oxford. Now 7-3 though. Rebs coming back.
Top 25 matchup out west. UCLA is in Corvallis to take on number 2 Oregon State later tonight. That is 4 strikeouts now for Dolander. His cruise continues, and now he'll face Cameron James with 2 out in the 5th.
Tommy's got one of those going too, by the way. And he kind of has the stuff that makes you think he may be able to get one of those tonight if we're going to leave him in there long enough. I don't think that they would. I think it's a situation where you're rounding into the postseason. Dolander's missed a few turns earlier this season. Pitch count where we had 52. That is still way low for this time. Probably want him to go 75, 80 ideally tonight. The way he's going right now, he may get you through 7 or 8.
.95 for a strike, 1-1. Dylan Cruz just homered for LSU moments ago. He's pretty good. Be playing in the big leagues for a long time.
Yeah, I got a few of them there that may be playing in the big leagues for a while.
5-0 lead for Jay Johnson's club.
And this is a weekend after LSU getting swept at home. Ole Miss came in. See the picture of the Bianco crew?
Yes.
With Jay Johnson there after it was senior day. That was really cool.
2-2 from Dolander. He looks. Have we peaked too early? Are we good too early? What do you say about this team in the chase for a national championship in terms of how you extend your best baseball all the way through the season?
Well, I don't think there's been any peaking that I can see, and I think the other thing is now they're finally totally, well, not totally, but as healthy as they've been the entire season. I mean, they got as many arms back on the weekend as they've had up to this point in the year. It doesn't feel like a peak to me. It feels like they're just really good.
Beck 1 for 3 with a home run. They lost their first series of the year at Kentucky a couple weekends ago. Bounced back by clinching the regular season and beating Georgia 2 out of 3 last weekend. Three 3-0 the count to Jordan Beck. I think it's fair from a broadcast standpoint when you break down this Tennessee team, Kyle, to hold them to a higher standard because the goal now is a national championship after they've been consensus #1. We haven't had the #1 team in the seeds win the national championship since Miami in 1999, #1 overall going into the tournament. And Dolander has been sensational tonight. Can't be much better than that. So judging them against national championship contenders, what, if any, are your concerns about this squad?
For Tennessee?
Yeah.
I mean, listen, we haven't seen it the last few weekends, but at least early in the season, people were really running on Evan Russell. When they got on, they were taking chances on the base pass. Aside from that, honestly, I don't see anything that would give you concern, or you would think would ultimately give you concern. Hancock down for the first out of the inning, and I mean, listen, man, they're fielding 980 as a club coming in. That's a loud number in college baseball if you're fielding 980. We've talked about the pitch in depth. I mean, here's where they're at. Last weekend, Chase Burns and Drew Beam, both freshmen who have had incredible seasons. Neither one of them started. Both of them came out of the bullpen. And I think that Tony did that and Frank did that because they look forward in the postseason and say, you know what, there's a chance we're going to have to use those guys out of the bullpen. They had never done it before in their college careers. Both of them freshmen, every turn they had this year was as a starter. And they weren't great coming out of the bullpen. I mean, I think Beam faced 4 guys, gave up 3 earned runs, and Burns was just okay when he came out of the pen. But still, at least they've done it. And so as you start looking down the road, because you get the option of 4 different guys starting, I mean, if you play for a while in Omaha, you're probably going to need all 4 of them from a starting standpoint. But if you win, you don't. And that's where you may see guys like that go back to the bullpen.
Clean hit for Lipscomb, who's got a 4-hit game. Yeah, talking with Tony today, the thought, a couple things to clean up from last weekend. They wanted to give Ben Joyce this opportunity to start. He said, I've seen how hard that guy worked, not just coming back from Tommy John, but getting his body in elite shape. And when he's coming back from TJ, he said, you know, my goal is to get back and start. And so it was a bit of a celebration for us. We'd clinched already. Let's give him a chance to show what he could do. And he could probably have gone another inning in that start. And the goal for Tidwell now, I would expect we'd see Tidwell out of the bullpen, if not tonight, then tomorrow. And then they could set him up to start on Wednesday. First game in Hoover. Ortega sends it deep to center field. It's another one. It's a 3-run home run for Jorel Ortega, his 13th of the season. Home run number 5 on the night for the Vols.
This lineup just drives you nuts. I mean, Lawson's the only guy that didn't have a hit tonight. Everybody's reached base, and now Jorel Ortega, and we told some of his story earlier in this game. But a guy that did not have regular playing time last year came back, didn't go anywhere, and I think it speaks volumes to this program that he and Lipscomb, who weren't a part of that run last year, really. Both stayed around, and both have been a big part of this run this year. 13th home run of the season, so no doubter to Dead Central. 3 more Tennessee runs. Now it's 2 touchdowns.
5 home runs tonight. The Tennessee single game record for home runs is 7. Did that against James Madison on March 9th. And twice before in school history, Lipscomb in 19 in the Rusty Enzer era, March 7th, 1980 against Tennessee Tech. Here's Blake Burke. He's 2 for 2 with a walk and a 3-run home run. Oh, pardon me. We got a pinch hitter at the plate for Tennessee. And that'll be Christian Moore hitting in Burke's spot. So what an opportunity for Tony Vitello, huh? I mean, talking about getting guys at bats and opportunities, and with a 14-0 lead in the 6th inning of game number 1, he was able to get Christian Moore to the plate.
Well, Christian Moore, another freshman, Tommy, who's been a big part of this run as well. Moore's got 10 home runs. He's not starting. He's a freshman, 10 home runs and 101 at bats. I mean, those offensive numbers are usually guys that are hitting in the middle of somebody's lineup. He didn't start. His OPS is 1150.
Well, Tennessee as a team has an OPS over 1,000. But yes, impressive numbers for the Brooklyn native. Tennessee Athletics have had a nice little run from freshmen from New York City this season. Zakai Ziegler gave Tony Vitello an autographed ball this weekend. Tennessee point guard ground out to short. 2 down. $14-0. Do you get Evan Russell out of the game?
A bad idea, actually. Get somebody else back behind the plate that you can give a little bit of time to. I like that idea. Tom, you were full of good ideas.
Full of something.
Man, it's got to be a really confusing feeling for Mississippi State right now, because when you look at the names in the lineup, it's a lot of the same ones that were a part of it last year. Obviously not Yeager, but Hancock, Tanner, Cumbest, Clark, James, Forsythe to some extent. And you just expect that there's going to be a jump. Hines, the freshman, comes in, has a good offensive season. Yeager, the transfer, comes in, leads them in home runs. And they're 9-18 in the league. I know Sims hurt, obviously, because he's one of the premier arms in this entire country. But I would think it's very hard right now for Chris and his staff just to look at it and try to figure out how this all happened, because it happened really fast. They were 9-10 in the league.
Russell with a double. That's his 3rd hit.
Top to bottom, Cortland Lawson, the only one that in the starting lineup doesn't have a base hit. In fact, he's the only one that it feels like doesn't have multiple base hits. For Russell, 2 doubles in the day, 3 hits. He scored back in the 5th.
I feel to add on to the Landon Sims aspect of all of this, I feel like not only did they lose their ace because of the position change, so to speak, they also lost one of the best closers in the game.
Yeah, good point.
First pitch to Cortland Lawson in for a strike.
And then, I mean, when he goes down, and Tennessee had it early. I mean, Tidwell wasn't throwing and really hasn't thrown a ton up to this point. You talked about him coming out of the bullpen this weekend, but Blade Tidwell's thrown just 21 innings this year for Tennessee. Coming into the season, they thought he'd be their ace. But it just pushes everybody up. And the reality is there's not too many places that have the depth that Tennessee does, that when you push everybody up, you're still really, really good. Generally, push everybody up, bullpen roles are a little bit different, and State just, they haven't responded the same way. I'll give that kid credit, though. I mean, Landon Sims had Tommy John earlier in the week, and at the end of the week, I had him down at Georgia, and he was there. He wasn't 3 or 4 days off surgery, and he still wasn't going to miss a weekend series.
Breaking ball hit to left center field. Long run. Davis, he's at the fence and reaching for it. 72% of Dolander's pitches have been strikes tonight. Davis grounded out to Lipsius at first, his first time up. How would you summarize Chase Dolander's strengths as a pitcher?
It's an elite fastball to start. We've seen it up to 98 tonight. The slider he can kind of throw two different ways. Changeup we haven't seen a ton tonight. The changeup is a plus pitch as well. But I think the two things that stick out with Dolander, one, it's the control, and you just look at the numbers. But the other thing is an understanding of the way that he wants to go about going after guys. He knows the way his fastball plays, and he is intentionally throwing it up in the zone. Then in an ideal world, that was a curveball there too. In an ideal world, he'll come back and throw breaking balls off of that same slot. So when you see it out of hand, you're thinking potentially it's a fastball, and then the movement takes it the other way. But it starts with elite stuff, and it's, I would say, it's made significantly better by elite control. Those two usually don't go together.
That's just the third 3-ball count tonight from Dolander. Fastball tailed that time. Here's the 3-2 pitch to Davis. Got him swinging at 96. 4 consecutive strikeouts, 6 on the night for Dolander.
How about this? So first turn through the order, Dolander didn't strike anybody out. 7 fly ball outs, 1 ground ball. Since then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's punched out 6 of the 8 that he's faced. Elevated fastball right there, and it just he's having one of those nights where he can throw any one of, well, really 4. He already threw a curveball, but he can throw any one of 3 whenever he wants to.
First pitch strike to Lane Forsythe. He's the only Bulldog to have reached base tonight. That was on a 2-out walk in the 3rd. Out distribution for Dolander. Fly ball deep right field. Back is Beck, and with 2 steps out of the track, hauls it in. 2 down. Another quick plate appearance for State. Back to the top of the order, and R.J. Yeager, who's always a threat to run one out. Yeager came into the weekend 5th in the SEC in home runs, in RBI, 4th in slugging. Tonight, 0 for 2. A fly out to left field and a strikeout. And he swings at the first, 0-1.
Here we go, Yeager!
This one into right. Since then, his high was 77 pitches against Georgia. State makes a pitching change. This is Jack Walker in the game now. So my question in reference to Dolander is, how deep do you think he goes tonight, assuming his current run continues?
If I'm Tennessee staff, I don't really want him going beyond 85 or 90. And if I'm Tennessee staff, in the back of my mind, and I wouldn't admit it to anybody if he asked me, I want him to give up a hit. And just take the discussion, the thought process, and everything out of it. Because him going out and throwing 105, 110 pitches, if he's chasing something that's special, don't get me wrong, but if he's chasing something, not going to help you down the road. That's for sure.
Christian Scott getting a chance to pinch hit here in the 7th, and Stevenson's spot. Seth Stevenson was 2 for 4. Back to Dolander. He hasn't thrown more than 13 pitches in any single inning tonight. That was his high. It was in the 5th when he struck out the side. Breaking ball low, full count from Jack Walker to Christian Scott. Scott only got a couple opportunities against Georgia, went 1 for 2, and that one hit him. Another base runner for Tennessee. And now Luke Lipsius, who's 2 for 4.
And North Carolina fighting to get into the NCAA tournament. Walk-off 3-run home run with 2 outs in the 9th inning against Florida State in the opener.
So Florida State has been walked off in back-to-back games after Florida got a midweek. Yanked foul, 0-2.
Same kid that was calling every fly ball.
Could be.
Trying to get that strike call.
Deep left field. It is gone onto the concourse. Lipsius' second home run of the night. Is it 6 now? Starting to lose count.
6.
The record is 7 for Tennessee.
That is 6. Lipsius with 2. Beck with a home run. Gilbert with a home run. Blake Burke, the freshman. And Jarrell Ortega to center field. That is 6 in the day. Program record is 7. Lipsius has hit them both to left, too. His first home run of the day put Tennessee on the board in the 1st inning. Now this time takes a 2-seam fastball from Jack Walker, which is moving away from him anyway. The 35-year-old first baseman is now deep twice tonight. 3 hits total, and Tennessee's up 16 rip.
Ball and a strike now to Jordan Beck.
A little bit surprised, maybe we'll start to see it more, that Tony Vitello is not emptying the entire bench right here. Just getting everybody a look. This was coming into tonight, so that 126 is now 132. They're 21 home runs ahead of anybody else. I don't know if Maryland's hit any tonight, but.
Well, you know, Beck is a guy that they want to try and get in a groove. Came in 2 for his last 24. Homered his first time up. After he homered to start the Vandy game. A homer that was later rescinded for having a go bat. Tony Vitello. Were you doing that game?
I was not doing that game. Berkey
Tennessee Vandy? Yeah. Vitello got on to do the mid-game interview, and he called him Mike Honcho. He said, we got Mike Honcho. He's 35 years old. He's not even enrolled in school. He's breaking all the rules. So before you know it, Mike Honcho jerseys sold 3,000 times in 48 hours in Toddy's Backdoor Tavern. May have darkened the door of that place once or 17 times. Put on their side, Mike Honcho drinks for free.
It was one of the better in-game coaches interviews that I think I've ever heard.
Maybe ever.
By the way, Maryland hit 4 home runs tonight.
Oh.
So Tennessee
How
still
dare
out
you
front.
sell
What
the
was I
turf
thinking?
short.
Of course they're going to hit home runs. 14-7 Maryland, a winner over Purdue in the opener. Maryland with a chance to host.
Ball flies out of the turtle, doesn't it?
It does, but they're not playing there.
Oh. Ball flies in West Lafayette, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. A wonderful turnaround right there, Tom.
Traditional Big Ten matchup for you. There's ball 4 to Beck. Hit batter, home run, walk for Jack Walker. Who took over in the 7th. Luke's not taking the hat off.
I'm gonna tell you something. They don't keep the coat on very long right now. I said this last weekend, but I mean that is like that thing's got to smell like a petting zoo right now because it's been everywhere. It's been hot. Everybody's putting it on. They kind of let them drape it around them, and then it comes off right away, immediately.
Here's Drew Gilbert. What are the odds that the fur coat is a real fur coat?
0.
Come on.
Blutarski, 0.0. That's what the odds are.
Somebody skinned a cheetah. Hit on the screws into the right field corner. We'll get all the way to the fence. Gilbert with his 2nd extra base hit of the game. Beck will stop at 3rd. Gilbert's got a double and a home run. And if it hadn't happened yet, now the scorebook officially looks like one of those spring training scorebooks.
Was it in pen?
Yeah. Colt Cheatham started in the midweek game for State. Here's Lipscomb, who has a 4-for-4 night going. Senior from Frederick, Maryland, 4-for-4 with 4 singles. Reading up on Lipscomb this week, he's learned how to relax.
It starts to slow down for Lipscomb and obviously Burke again tonight. That's usually when the numbers follow.
After the visit from Scott Foxhall, the 2-0 pitch. Did you ever take up painting, KP?
No. No, I didn't, and I don't see it in my immediate future.
What if we gave you the numbers?
The paint by numbers thing?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I could do that. I mean, that I did when I was like 4.
I want to get to the backstop. They're going to go ahead and come home in a 16-0 game, and he's safe at the plate. Beck comes home on the wild pitch. He's replaced at 3rd by Gilbert. Pretty sure Beck took off on his own. No product from the coaches.
Yeah, I think this one's tough. I mean, it's one thing to not take extra bases. Ball that's hit to center field, maybe hold up at 3rd. If the ball goes all the way to the backstop, like, is it worse if you don't go? I kind of think it is. If they're going to hand you, it's definitely not running the score up if you come in and score on that situation.
Lipscomb will reach. By the way, I am informed by a very good source that it is indeed a real fur coat. If I remember correctly, a local real estate agent loaned it to the team for the year. Softball has one as well. Yeah. Plenty of people willing to pay the dry cleaning bill at the end of the season, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You seem doubtful.
No, I seem doubtful that it's going to get returned. That's all. The loan may get extended.
Here's Ortega, pitch in the dirt, as it is. And after that pitch, we'll have a pitching change. Jack Walker did not record an out. Hit a batter, allowed a home run, a walk, double, another walk, and behind in the count 1-0. So Cole Cheatham, he'll inherit a 1-0 count on Ortega. Pitching change in the middle of an inning after a pitching change before the inning started, and now the sixth batter of the inning. Chase Dolander's been sitting over in the Tennessee dugout for a while. Is it bothersome to a pitcher when you're in a rhythm to then have to sit?
Yeah, it stinks, honestly. Because you start getting jumpy, especially on a night that Dolander's having right now.
Ortega hit a 3-run home run last time up. And he sends this ground ball through the hole. It just rolls right through. Another RBI for Ortega. That scores Gilbert. Another run charged to Walker. Been about 15 minutes for Dolander, pace the Tennessee dugout after he put down the side in order in the sixth on just 10 pitches. Christian Moore at the plate.
They pay for rent. Yeah.
This one down the line and foul. Moore played in the midweek game against Belmont. Came in as a pinch hitter and stayed around long enough in that 18-0 win to go 3 for 4 with 4 ribbies, including a double and a home run. Not only has Tennessee homered 6 times tonight, but they homered 6 times Tuesday.
Program record being 7 in one game. And now on the season.
On the season, 132.
132, 144 gets you into the top 10 ever single season in college baseball.
Backdoor breaking ball for strike 3 on Moore. 7 batters inning. The State finds its first out of the 7th. And that'll bring Evan Russell to the plate. We have some viewers, I'm sure, who weren't not aware of what college baseball was before the bats and the ball were both tamed. So can you put it in perspective what it used to be like?
Yeah, I mean, it used to be the bats literally would break, and because the walls of the bats were so thin. And the other thing was there was, I mean, essentially next to no regulations. So it was home run derby for a few years. 1998, the national championship game was 21-14. That's when everything started to spin, and that's why when you look at those top 10 home run, single-season home run years, most of them are in the 90s. Because that's when everything was really flying. Then it went too far back, and now I think we're to the point to where I think the bats are pretty fair. Tennessee's maybe making some other pitchers feel otherwise.
Russell has 3 hits tonight, 2 doubles and a single. It doesn't happen very often that Mississippi State gives up 18 at home in a conference game. And that's down into the gap for another hit. It's going to be a 3-double night for Evan Russell. He'll drive home one more. Scoring Lipscomb. And scoring Ortega. Came around to score for us.
I sure hope so. Makes Hoover better.
This kind of has a feel of the last night of the last game of the night, late night.
I would agree.
2 o'clock in the morning.
Next thing you know, we got fog rolling in.
Viewers are burning pizza rolls.
Here we go.
Nothing in 2.
Let's go 1-6.
Our crack researcher, Greg Campbell, informs us that despite being down 20, State's still a long way away from the school record. Alabama on April 23rd, 1943. Well, they're not that far off, actually. Scored 29. That's the record. And it's now 21-0. I misread the stat. Tennessee is 1 off of its record at Dudy Noble. They scored 22 times in 1998 in Starkville.
Hey, you want to talk about some numbers that jump out at you? State came into this, and obviously it's only going to go north. State came into this game with a 5.66 ERA on the season. I mean, we talked about Sims going down, and they also lost multiple other guys to injuries. Brooks, Augerstone, Simmons all went down with Tommy John. So it's not just Sims that affected it, but still that trickle-down effect has been huge. So a 5.66 ERA compared to a 2.32 ERA for Tennessee.
First in the conference versus last in the conference. We're not at the ballpark. I can't see the delay. I assume we're going to have a pinch here. But in the meantime, Tennessee does have McLaughlin up in the bullpen. And the home crowd anxious to get Luke Lipsius to the plate. I don't know. Oh, they will pinch hit after all. This will be Ethan Payne. Payne, the junior from Memphis, is the 3rd off the bench for Tennessee tonight. This is only the 2nd SEC appearance for Payne. Back on March 18th, he pinch ran in a South Carolina matchup. Otherwise, it's been all non-conference action. drew a walk in the Belmont game Tuesday night and saw some late action at first base. There's McLaughlin getting loose. Despite the fact Dolander hasn't been touched in 6 innings, curveball hit him in the helmet.
Yeah, I think you may have reached a point. We'll see what Tennessee decides to do, but you may have reached a point that it's been just a little bit too long on the bench right now for Dolander. If it was a quick half inning, I don't think you even think twice. You put him back out there, but now I think there is at least discussion, especially when you see McLaughlin up and throwing.
First pitch swinging for Beck, and that's a foul ball. Beck 1 for 3. On a couple of walks each of his last 2 plate appearances.
You surprised
Going
Beck's
back
still in
to-
there?
Not in this sense. In this sense, he's really been struggling at the plate.
Yeah.
Over his last 12, coming in, and you know he can get hot with a couple swings, right? And it looked like he was doing that when he homered in the first.
Yeah. I mean, walked his last 2 times up. That's fair. I mean, maybe you want to give him one more look. And really, for Beck's standards, the home run, I mean, he's strong and he's a really good hitter. But he didn't get all of it. He got enough to get it out. Wasn't hammered, but still, I think a great sign if you're Tennessee. One of 6 home runs on the night for the Vols.
Still 2-2 to Jordan Beck. This half inning is now 32 minutes long. Add a couple more to the between break, and that's how long Dolander has been on ice.
Yeah, I think there's a pretty decent chance he doesn't run back out there. I mean, no-hitters are really cool, don't get me wrong, but this time of the year, especially with what Tennessee has going, he's going to be a big part as to whether or not they get a chance to win the whole thing, and I don't think you stretch him any further tonight.
He's moved on to the snack portion of his night.
It's generally a good
one
indicator.
hint. First pitch upstairs. Chase Dolander was trying to do something that had only been accomplished 5 other times in Tennessee history. Most recent individual no-hitter thrown by Jeffrey Terrell against Bowling Green 20 years ago. Major leaguer Rick Honeycutt had a 7-inning no-hitter in 1976 in the SEC against Georgia. In for a strike, 2-2 now. Luke Hancock, who lined out to short and then again to right. Couple of changes defensively for Tennessee this half inning. Kyle Booker is now in the game in left field. He's taken Gilbert's spot in the batting order and will lead off the 8th. And Christian Scott has moved to center. Second base runner of the night for State comes on a leadoff walk to Luke Hancock in a 21-0 game. There's Scott in the middle of the game and was playing in left. And there's the first hit of the game for State. It comes off the bat of Logan Tanner. And the Bulldogs finally get the home crowd something to cheer about. Nothing in 1 to Hunter Hines. So a hit on the board for State. Tennessee was looking for its first combined hitter since 2000. And now back-to-back hits, and the shutout is wasted. 1-run home. Here comes another. The throw is there. Got him! And Tanner thrown out, trying to score on a fantastic play by Evan Russell against his counterpart. And now we got a warning on the Tennessee bench, and the home plate umpire and others have gone over there to point Frank Anderson back. Tony Vitello is out on the field and pointing.
This one, I'm going to tell you this. If Tennessee has a chance to run it up after this, it will happen. And I don't know whether they will or not, but I don't know if I've ever seen a guy. I don't have any problem with it. Mississippi stays down. They can do whatever they want, obviously. But Luke Hancock reached first and was stealing second base. You don't see that in a 21-0 game. And then Logan Tanner right there trying to score on that ball to right field, which quite honestly makes no sense at all. I mean, you're down 21 runs. You don't want to take any chance at this point. You just want to try to keep the line moving and see if you got any possible chance to get back in the middle of it. Now, I don't know what got Frank fired up, but obviously Frank has a tendency to get fired up sometimes. And then that got everybody out of the dugout for a minute. I mean, if you're State, you want to obviously you want to keep going as hard as you can, but I do not understand trying to score on that ball. I mean, you got to be safe by 15 steps if there's nobody out and you're trying to score on a single direct field.
We're trying to make sense of the happenings from our respective basements, but it looked like first Frank Anderson and then Tony Vitello each came out of the Tennessee dugout. And I couldn't tell if they were having, I don't understand why they would have had words for Hunter Hines, but then Lamonis came out eventually. And Cumbus sends this one into center field. It is out number 2. Question is if Hunter Hines over his shoulder had some words for the Tennessee dugout. They're coming out to celebrate the out at the plate. You can see Hines at first base. And Hancock at the plate, the home plate umpire, Mark Winters, telling everybody to get back. And Vitello.
What got him that fired up? I don't know.
First pitch strike to Kellum Clark. You get an outfield assist, you throw a guy out at the plate. My opinion, that's a play worth celebrating. That's something that would get guys fired up to the top step of the dugout, if not a step or two on the field. I don't see an issue with that from this perspective.
No, I don't disagree. I don't know what got Frank Anderson that fired up. I think maybe there's a little bit of a surprise that they're trying to score on that ball to right field. But if you're Tennessee, you want them to. I mean, it worked out in their favor. Uh-oh. We get some net movers back behind home plate.
Yeah, we do.
Got about 4 of them diving for the exit right there. How many we got? Let's count. All right, the kid. How about
You got 2 dads.
lady in the middle? She didn't move at all. Everybody else is diving out.
They're her seat.
right
She's
there.
been there before.
I
The
know
second
this
little
kid.
shovel. Infield single for Kellum Clark.
Only chance you have right here. You got to throw this one over him. I know momentum's taking you over there, but you just can't get enough on it if you're throwing it under. And even if he does throw it over him, I'm not sure if he'll get it. It's the only chance you're going to have. Instead, second hit, third hit, excuse me, of both the game and the inning is an infield single right there for Kellum Clark.
Cameron James 0 for 2 tonight.
So the math for Mississippi State, let's just go on a limb and say that this one holds and they lose this one. They got to win the next 2 to have any chance. They honestly win the next 2 and then they need some help.
They'll be facing Chase Burns and Drew Bean, and that's just to start. Guys like Ben Joyce and Redmond Walsh coming out of Penn. This is loaded here in the 7th. And McLaughlin walk, a couple of singles, and out, then another single and another walk. Here's Jess Davis. Just Davis, UAB transfer from Kearney, Missouri, up in northwest Missouri. He was a record-setting baseball and football player. Vitello's This Tennessee pitching staff was gifted a massive cushion. 21-run lead for the bullpen when Dolander exited. And now it's just a race to get the final 7 outs and get back to the hotel.
And then you get a face a freshman left-hander coming out of the bullpen that's 93, 94.
He finishes off Davis, and that'll close the state half of the 7th. So we head to the 8th. 21 runs on 22 hits for Tennessee, but State has spoiled the shutout. Three spot, a 5 spot, a 3, a 3, and a 7. It adds up to 21. That's blackjack. And Tennessee heads to the 8th with a commanding lead. Here's Kyle Booker. First plate appearance for the sophomore from South Haven, Mississippi, playing Gilbert's spot. All right, so as pointed out by the astute Greg Campbell, anything less than 2 wins for State the next 2 days, and their season's over on Saturday. And even if they win 2, Kyle, that still may not be enough, depending on what Missouri, Alabama, and Kentucky accomplish this weekend.
They're going to need help. I mean, Arkansas was up on Alabama late. Missouri 11-3 in the 8th in Athens against Georgia. So
didn't see that one coming, did you?
No, but I'll tell you this. I mean, Missouri's overall win number has not been there. You talk to any coach, and they give you everything you want. In fact, aside from Kentucky winning a series against Tennessee, Missouri didn't win a game, but I think every game was a 1 or a 2-run game. I mean, they've played everybody close. They just haven't won a lot of them.
They can run into it, and they did that early tonight in Athens. Cheetah misses up, and Booker leads off the 8th with a walk. And that'll bring Lipscomb's spot up, but they'll have a pinch hitter, Logan Steenstra. Five different reserves off the bench for Tony Vitello's team tonight.
Crazy what 2 weeks can do in this league. I mean, we were in Starkville 2 weeks ago. Florida's in town. It's jammed. Mississippi State still looks like they're in a decent spot. Definitely not talking about missing Hoover at that point. In a decent spot to get to the postseason. Now you fast forward 2 weeks. The stadium's a third full, maybe, and State is on fumes. This league can do that too.
Does that mean we're not going to see Ron Polk next week?
It's the way it looks.
Ortega has 3 hits, including a 3-run home run. That was such a refreshing trip. I don't know what exactly your experience was, but the number of State fans who, that was the first on-site broadcast in 3 years in Starkville. And so the number of fans that stopped us on the concourse, in the parking lot, and just said, thanks for being here. And we love the fact that you're here. It's hard to.
Go ahead.
Well, I was going to make this comment, and it's hard for other fan bases to hear you be complimentary of one because they think you're putting theirs down. This is not a put down of anybody else. But baseball matters so much at Mississippi State that it resonates with them. The little things matter. And trust me, us, as much as we want to be there, we're the little things when it comes to this game. And it continued even after that final game back at the hotel and met a family that not only drove in from Nashville for the game, but they spend every summer driving up to the Cape to see the State players play in the Cape.
It is an unbelievable fan base. And obviously, I mean, the setting that they have right now it's deserved because of what this fan base has been historically. And obviously it got kicked up even more after the national championship. But they appreciate it. I mean, they appreciate the game, the environment, the way that it goes. One of my favorite things is still talking to teams that go to Starkville for the first time, kids that have never been there. And you get most nights the smoke rising from the grill and people feeding you afterwards whether you won or lost. And they'll jump on you, but they're fair. They're very fair. They're great baseball fans.
They're usually thirsty. Talking with those fans back at the hotel, they reminisce at Notre Dame Super Regional last year, and they said the Notre Dame fans were so impressed. They bought an entire bottle of Fireball, and nobody left till it was empty. And that was in the hotel bar.
The Notre Dame fans bought the bottle of Fireball?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Why not?
Touch deep left center field and against the fence, it's gone. Second home run for Ortega tonight. School record tying 7th home run in this game for Tennessee.
It's been 2 balls like that Jess Davis almost had a chance to catch and instead ended up just beyond the wall. This one is Ortega's 2nd home run of the night, 14th of the year. Fastball elevated. Cheatham's trying to do that. That's exactly where he wants to throw it. He just doesn't want the outcome. Jarrell Ortega now 4 for 6 on the night. Doubled in the 3rd and scored. Home run in the 6th. Singled, scored in the 7th. Now the home run here in the 8th. 23-1.
Miami has finished off Notre Dame 6-4 in that ACC opener. What a wild ride the ACC is this year.
You talked about it earlier. I think Miami feels like they're Virginia Tech. Yes, feels like a lock to be a top 8. Miami, it's pretty close right now, especially if they win a series this weekend against Notre Dame. I think that solidifies it. But then there's a lot of others that can move up and down in that discussion pretty quick in the ACC.
Miami and Virginia Tech both won today. Canes lead the Hokies by 1 game in the Coastal. And Louisville and Notre Dame neck and neck in the Atlantic, if you care about divisions. Swing and a miss for Christian Moore.
The Gators up 10 at home, 14-4 over South Carolina. Florida's hit 4 home runs tonight. 2 for Wyatt Langford.
Charlie Taylor at the plate. Freshman from Dunwoody, Georgia. Taylor had a hit Tuesday against Belmont. It was his first hit since February 25th. He's caught a good chunk of the midweek games as a starter and has only appeared as a reserve in conference games. But he went 1 for 5 against Belmont. Stands to reason Belmont could be going back to Knoxville for regionals. They're in control of their conference. To third. Tennessee's put 23 on the board. State hadn't given up 23 at home since 1962. Vols will still have one more trip to the plate. 23 runs on 23 hits. Pretty good ratio.
Let's go, Cancun!
2 more in the 8th for Tennessee. It's a 23-1 lead. They are still going strong. No last call in right field. There's the Berm squad.
We know them.
Let's go, Cancun!
Tanner Leggett with a healthy cut. Senior's got a national championship to his name. Did you hear about Leggett's pants situation?
No. What happened?
Well, as I understand it, he had been struggling a little bit. And so he was looking to find some luck. Remember, he had the game-winning hit against Texas in Omaha to send State to the finals. And he started wearing long pants in Omaha, but he still had the short pants from earlier in the season. And he loved them so much he never brought them back to school this year. They hadn't been washed. They were stained brown.
There we go. Get out, Cancun!
But he decided early in the season, you know, I need to go back to those same pants that I wore through our postseason run. So they found them, but the equipment manager had to do a lot of work to him. And he sends this one high and deep to left field. The pants are short, the hit is long, and he's got a pinch hit home run.
At any rate, 5th home run of the year, and State's got another one.
Of note, he was 0 for 18 against left-handed pitching this season before that home run. To right and handled there. One down. And Beck Hancock swings at the first.
Let's go, LT.
2 down.
Make some noise.
Logan Tanner seemed to draw the ire of the Tennessee dugout, not just trying to score, but maybe came in with some spikes up. On that play at the plate in the 7th.
I don't understand why he was trying to score. That doesn't make any sense to me. But I thought the slide it may have made him mad. I don't know if it would have made him mad, but I thought the slide was fine. He went straight into home plate. But down 20 runs, how are you taking any chances at home plate? That one I don't get.
Not exactly known for his speed. Anniversary of the eruption yesterday. Cortland Lawson at the plate for Tennessee.
There we go.
The nickname for Castle Rock High School, the Rockets. Fastball upstairs, 1-1. So you've seen Tennessee, not just in person, but also over your television screen in full living color tonight and over the last couple of weekends. Your thoughts changed on what the numbers were over the course of the season and what you see?
No, I mean, it's as good a college baseball team as I've seen.
Ever.
It is for me. I mean, I'm not saying that, hey, they're the best, and I don't know how you quantify that to say one is absolutely the best over others. I mean, it wasn't a few years ago. Oregon State went to Omaha 54-4. That's unheard of. But I just don't see. I don't see any holes with them, man. I don't see any holes, and they've shown that again tonight. It doesn't mean somebody could go in and beat them 2 out of 3 in a super regional. They don't get to Omaha. I mean, that's the way that this game works, but they are loaded, and they're deep. They can run a little bit if you want them to. Obviously, they can hit it out of the ballpark. Bullpen depth is not an issue whatsoever, and they got 4 real dudes that can start a game. They're really good.
This is the most runs Tennessee has scored against an SEC opponent since May of 2010. They beat Georgia 25-5. And according to our research crew, as it stands, this would be the second largest loss in Mississippi State history. 1966, they lost to Florida State 24-2. In 1946, they lost to LSU 21-0.
If you're State, you got to sleep fast tonight. Just get this thing over and realize the only chance you have to keep this baseball season going after Saturday is you got to figure out a way to win the next two. You don't win the next two if you don't win tomorrow. And tomorrow should be Preston Johnson, the right-hander, on the mound for State, and Chase Burns, the freshman right-hander for Tennessee.
Walling hits 95.
That's how crazy velocity is right now. Like, Andrew Walling's thrown 2 innings this year. 2. He's walked 5 guys in those 2 innings coming into this game. But still, you got a left-hander that just hit 95 that's thrown 2 innings over the course of the season.
Oh.
One of the reasons why he's thrown 2 innings this year. Not a small mess. You can figure out how to get it into the zone. The kid's going to have some success.
Let's go 2-9.
And there's a strikeout of Payne for out number 1. You're talking about velocity. You've got to really hit big numbers to make an impression anymore at any level, but especially in college baseball. Ben Joyce threw the fastest pitch in college baseball against Auburn, 105.5. But these are all the other dudes. These are just pitches viewed firsthand by somebody from D1 baseball. So there are more than just these. That's a lot of 99s and hundos.
Yeah, we saw 98 tonight. Saw 98, a few 95s, and that's, I mean, it feels like that's like your average day now. In this conference, not just in this conference, but across the country. Joyce is on a different planet. I mean, you start throwing 103s and 4s and 5s up, that's stuff that is what's never happened in the college game at 105.
Barely happened at any level, unless your name's Aroldis Chapman. In that game against Auburn, Joyce threw 28 of his 33 fastballs over 103. 15 pitches at 104.
So, Tom, I don't think we're going to see Ben Joyce tonight. If I were to guess, I don't think he's going to come trotting in out of the Tennessee bullpen.
Suppose we'll have to wait. Jordan Beck, one of the few starters still in the game for Tennessee. There's 2 down. Ortega and Lawson are the only other 2 position player starters that are still in.
I understand what you were saying earlier against Beck. I still don't know why he's in there late. I think there's more damage than good that can happen. He's already hit a home run today. I think you get him out of there with some good thoughts. Now the last 2 times he's gone up there, he's punched out.
Well, they're almost you know, with 6 subs already in the game.
There's not many left.
Yeah. I'm just kind of going through the roster here. Yeah, they got a couple other options, but. Of the roster we have, we don't have the roster of those dressed. They would be down to just a couple options off the bench. And those guys might not even be traveling or dressed tonight. Kyle Booker off the bench for Tennessee. And he's ahead in the count 3-0. We see position player pitching in the big leagues more often than not. Albert Pujols pitched the other night. How about Drew McGowan, state outfielder, now getting loose in their pen?
I mean, you're not going to throw anybody else you potentially want to use the next 2 days, that's for sure. The night just got a lot more interesting for McGowan. And he's got a split. That's what makes it even better. He's down warming up. He's showing him. Here comes the split.
So I wonder if this is the last batter that Walling would face. Logan Steenstra with his second plate appearance. Drew a walk last time. With the bases loaded, he sends it to right center field. It is off the wall with one hop. That'll get 3 home. He clears the bases with a double. And Tennessee with a historical night at the plate tonight. Carousel got rolling.
Yeah, Carousel was going to keep going here. With 2 outs, you're going the minute this ball's put into play. And we talked about it earlier. When Mississippi State's stealing in a 20-run game, Tennessee's not going to pull the plug and ball in the gap right now. They come around and score 3. It is 26-2 Vols.
So without a state score in the bottom of the 9th, this would be a new record for the most lopsided loss in state history, bettering the 22-run loss to Florida State in 1966.
Let's go 2-9.
Florida State 1966. They were barely a school back then.
Dave Neal was a freshman.
This one shot to the gap. It is off the top of the fence. Another run will score. They were a foot away from a program record in home runs. Steenstra gave that one a ride. Pardon me, Ortega with 1, 2,
Just
3,
about
4,
his
5,
third.
6, 8 ribbies now for Ortega tonight. Is that my math correct? My scorebook is a total
Well, I missed
mess.
his 3rd home run by 2 feet. That math I know is correct, and that's just off the top of the fence. Steenstra comes on to score, and that's now 4 more in the inning for Tennessee. Yeah, Ortega, a 5-hit night. 2 home runs, 2 doubles, and a single.
5 hits and 8 ribbies. Everybody's going to be sleeping in the facility next time. Break out the cots. Well, a turnaround for Ortega from not traveling to having a key role in a 27-run night for the #1 team in the country. Fourth plate appearance for Christian Moore, who did not start the game. Wonder if we'll see Drew McGowan. We haven't seen him yet, but down in the pen, Tepper and Sheehan are giving him some pitching advice. A lot of needed directions on how to get to the pen. .31 pitches for Walling tonight. .27 runs tonight for Tennessee, and it's still not their most productive offensive night of the season. They blanked Iona 29-0 on February 26th, a day after beating the Gales 27-1.
That's Iona.
Yeah,
this is defending national champs that needed to win the series to have any chance to go play in the conference tournament. They're down 25 runs.
Tennessee was off and running in the first inning with back-to-back home runs. They get 3 in the first and 5.
One that's one of the hottest teams in the SEC. It is not a game right now in Nashville.
How about this? A base hit to start the inning from Braylon Skinner. Haven't seen much of him lately. He gets all the way down to the corner, and he ends up standing at second base. A postseason hero from last year. He's been through a lot just to get back on the field. Losing some time away from the team, and he sends a double in the corner in what may be his final appearance.
Just out of the reach of Lipsius. To state with the leadoff man on here, but in Nashville it's 11-2 LSU. Devin Futrell with a start for Vanderbilt. I think it's his first weekend start this year. And it didn't go great. 1 1/3, 5 hits, 5 runs, 5 earned runs. Patrick Riley out of the bullpen's given up 6 earned and 5 1/3.
Aaron Downs from Pella, Iowa. They like windows there and doors. Getting a pinch hit appearance. Missouri hammered Georgia 11-3 in this one.
I drove over to Atlantic, Iowa yesterday, Tom.
Oh, yeah? What'd you do?
An hour and 10-minute drive. I got the harebrained idea about 6 months ago that I thought we should get half a cow.
By we, you don't mean me.
By we,
I'm
I
not
mean
in.
me. No.
Okay.
So then I had to go get a freezer in which to put that half of cow in.
Wow.
Then I had to go pick it up.
Why only half a cow, Kyle?
Yeah, because it's just kind of my speed. It's about 550 pounds of meat, Tom, and it comes in 7 boxes, and I got to carry it all down to the basement yesterday after I drove over and back to Atlantic, Iowa.
It sounds like a workout.
I counted it.
Auburn and Kentucky rained out tonight. They're going to have to hustle to get that one in tomorrow. Florida, I want to get back to the cow in a minute, but scores of note. Florida beat South Carolina 14-5, and Alabama may be done, huh? Arkansas beat them 7-3 tonight.
They're not
They
done
knew
yet.
that they were on the razor's edge.
I mean, they're not done yet because you obviously got State. That one game that Alabama didn't play against Auburn last weekend could end up really benefiting just from a winning percentage standpoint.
Well, you get two different levels of teams in the bottom of the standings. Those hoping to make it to Hoover and those trying to get into the NCAA tournament as an at-large.
You got 4 right now just trying to get to Hoover.
Yeah.
Kentucky, Alabama, Mississippi State, and Missouri.
Slate Alford pinch hitting here in the 9th. Berkey and I will have game 2 of Arkansas, Alabama tomorrow night on the SEC Network. No relation to Blake Burke. Had a home run and scored a couple runs tonight for UT.
He should claim him. If I was Chris, I definitely would.
But if you were Blake, would you accept?
Good point. Oh, no.
Mark Winters took one in the bicep, I think. He's thinking, I've been here for 3.5 hours and 20.
Half cow was a little aggressive in retrospect, so we may adjust the order next year, Tom.
Next year?
Oh, we're going back.
Here's Von Siebert, junior from Daphne, Alabama. Did you get to pick your cow?
No, I did not.
Is that Bessie over there at the fence? Yes, I'll take her. Thank you.
I'm fine with anonymity on this one.
State down to its last strike, down 25.
You ever said that before in a baseball game?
No.
Down to their last strike, down 25.
And that'll finish off State. Strikeout of the side in the 9th. The final score, Tennessee 27, Mississippi State 2.
I don't know how you sum this